And folks, welcome back. It is yet another edition of the Torn Quadcast with your hosts, Elliott Serrano and Mark Allen Fishman. So sorry we took a break last weekend. I needed to recover. Let's just say so much is going on in the world today and in the world of wrestling. I just needed a break. So add to that, we keep getting preempted by the White Sox, like we are getting preempted tonight. So this is a YouTube-only edition of the Torn Quadcast, which means there will be no breaks. We're going straight through for the full program. And who knows, our language might slip again. I don't have to worry about the FCC on this one.
Excellent.
And so thank you so much. For those who've never tuned into the show before, the Torn Quadcast is the only show on radio here in Chicago that handles sports entertainment, sports, and entertainment. What does that mean? It means, you know what? Yeah, we know there are a lot of other podcasts and shows that talk about wrestling. We're like them. We'd like to come up with our own takes on it. At the same time, we don't like to restrict ourselves to just that. We will talk about other types of sports, and we will talk about other forms of entertainment, especially geeky entertainment. I will talk a little bit about Fan Expo, which took place in Chicago just last weekend. I went to the press and VIP preview last week. Unshaven Comics was notably absent from the event.
Not notably absent. We haven't done that show in 6 or 7 years.
I know. Again, notably. I mean, I was like, I was getting caught up with so many people who I hadn't seen in so long. Mike Norton was there, who I hadn't seen in forever. We're actually going to be working on a project together, hopefully. And my old Army of Darkness partner, Merritt Michaels, was there with his poo covers. If you've never seen his poo covers, he's already come out with a bat poo and dead poo variant cover for everything. So
has he done absolute bat poo?
You know what? I'll have to ask him. I bet you he has. I think he should, and he should. In any case, yes, we do like to talk about other things: comic books, video games, movies. We also have the season 2 premiere of Peacemaker, episode 1. Is airing this week. In fact, as we are recording this episode, it just went live, and I caught the first 10 minutes because I just wanted to see the new musical opening credits, which has become appointment watching, if you ask me.
Yep.
You know, they said that about the season, last season with the musical open. It was like, you know how a lot of people just skip through the opening credits? No, you had to watch it every time because it was just that damn entertaining.
And I don't know how you feel about it, but I always felt like as I watched it, and it's the same dance every time. They don't change anything, but your brain starts trying to figure out, is this like an interpretation of the plot that I'm watching? Like when they're doing this, is it a reference to this?
Exactly. Yes.
And they could absolutely not be doing any of that at all, and it could just be James Gunn grabbing some friends and saying, I want you to make a absolutely crazy made up dance with my players and have at it.
Well, if you watch again, I went back and I watched the season 1. I actually watched season 1, episode 1, just to get back into it. And they've already James Gunn has already made a revision, because remember how he was talking about how most everything in Peacemaker season 1 was canon, except for a few things. And a notable thing, I won't tell you what it is, but I want to go back and watch the season 1 finale to see if he made the changes that he teases in the season 2 open. Because some significant things happen in the open. I'm like, whoa! It's like let's say reality shifted, which was kind of interesting.
I may be apt to actually rewatch all of season 1 just because it's not fresh in my mind. And it's been long enough. And I know, like, when a show gets to that point, I did a rewatch recently. I'm a huge fan of the show Fargo. Um, and that's like each season's a completely separate story from the next. There's a little bit of chain between them, but very little. And I've finished whatever season I was watching, the Ewan McGregor season, and started the next one. And from just the first episode, I was already like, nope, I'm out again, because it's the following season is the one that stars Chris Rock, and it's the least Fargo's ever been. And like, it doesn't take place in Minnesota. It doesn't have sort of the, accidental death that sparks everything like all the other seasons. And it's like, I'm not really sure I want to rewatch this. And no offense to the guy, but Jason Schwartzman just looks like he smells.
He's been around a while. I liked him in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He was fun.
Oh, he was great there, but I think that's the kind of thing where I'm not sure how much of a stretch that was for him.
And isn't he like in every Wes Anderson movie?
He very well might be. I wouldn't know, because I've seen one or two whole Wes Anderson movies, and then I was like, I get it.
I watched The Life Aquatic. I think that's the one Wes Anderson movie that I saw, and because Bill Murray was in it, and there was a bit with a dog that was in there that got me so angry, so livid. Not only did it ruin the whole movie for me, it ruined all Wes Anderson movies for me.
Ooh.
So I said, screw it. I'm never watching this guy's movies again. I'm never going to do it. Never.
It's the kind of thing where I think over a decade ago, I chose Charlie Kaufman. And if I'm going to be hipster and weird, I'll go that route.
No, Charlie Kaufman. I think, which is what it was. Adaptation, was it?
He's done Adaptation.
Being
John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich, very good.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
But was it Michael Gondry directed that, which was incredible.
Yes.
Which was the one that Spike Jonze directed.
I thought he did the Being John Malkovich.
Was it by Being John Malkovich? Okay.
Maybe.
Because then somebody else did. I forgot who did Adaptation. That ending pissed me off. The ending of Adaptation pissed me off again.
Yeah, let me see. He did Synecdoche, New York.
I haven't seen that one.
I caught that's one I caught once, and then I was like, I really need to re-see this to understand what's going on. But yeah, let me see here. He did a story for Moral Oral. You're familiar. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Oh, that's Charlie Kaufman, or are you talking about Spike Jonze?
Charlie Kaufman.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind was really good. That one I did like.
Adaptation is Spike Jonze.
Spike Jonze directed Adaptation from a script by Charlie Kaufman. Yes.
Correct. And then Being John Malkovich was also a Spike Jonze.
Yeah, I think, and again, but I think Spike Jonze's last movie that I enjoyed the most was probably Her.
That was a good one.
The Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson vehicle about people falling in love with their AIs.
That would never happen.
Yeah, really. That movie came out not that long ago, and it's happening. It's happening. It's like, jeez.
I don't want to make you feel a certain way, but that movie came out over 10 years ago.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I know. Here's the thing. I knew I know it was a while back because my ex-wife and I were still together. We saw that movie together. And I remember going, oh, man, this is a really heartbreaking breakup. Did Elliott know that not that long following that, would he essentially go through the same thing?
I would say that I caught that movie way after it had come out, and I had missed all of the buzz and hype around it. I just knew what the concept was, and I felt like it would be a good movie to catch on a flight. And it was, for the most part. Of course, it does add, you fly into a new city, having watched that movie, you're like, my whole life is sadness. Everything is terrible.
True. It holds up really well. It holds up incredibly well. I
Yeah,
think
as a
that,
designer, I still remember the phones, and I
you know,
like that being really cool.
apparently that's one of that movie also got Chris Pratt on the casting director's radar for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Huh.
I was watching a interview with her and James Gunn. Apparently, James Gunn did not want Chris Pratt at all. Was not interested in Chris Pratt at all. But the casting director just insisted. Come on, you got to see this guy. You got to see this guy. When he finally saw him, boom, a star was born.
Now watch me land this one. You know another person he didn't want to cast? John Cena as Peacemaker.
I think I heard that too. Yeah, and now look at that. Yeah, and now I can't picture anyone else as Peacemaker.
Honest to God, I was going back and thinking at the time when they cast it, who else you might have got, but like it's the same thing where they said that they offered Wolverine to Russell Crowe infinite years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at the treatment, he looked at the sketches, and he's like, that doesn't look like me. I don't want to do it. But this kind of looks like my friend Hugh.
Mm-hmm.
And you should talk to him instead. And yeah, it's interesting because I can't figure who you would ever cast better than John Cena in that role. As somebody like who, I mean, first of all, Peacemaker is a mort of a character, and James Gunn, his talent seems to be taking D-listers and instantly making them A.
And you would think that, I don't know, it seems very intentional, but yeah, a lot of these things do happen by accident. The whole thing with even Hugh Jackman being cast as Wolverine, Doug Ray Scott was originally cast to play Wolverine, and I think for some reason had to pass. I think scheduling didn't work. He was doing, I think, a Mission Impossible. I forget what it was. But he could have been Wolverine. Didn't. They brought in Hugh Jackman. I remember, of course, famously, people complained about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, saying he was too tall, too pretty, and all that stuff. And now people can only think of him as Wolverine. So, but
I can say Deadpool put that to bed pretty well.
Yeah. Although I have a feeling that once they recast him, which they will, when they recast the X-Men,
yes.
I have this feeling that they're gonna get someone who's a bit lesser in stature, height. I think they're gonna go someone closer to what he was originally in the comics. Although people say, well, Wolverine's not supposed to be that tall in the comics. Have you seen how tall he's in? It's like he gets taller and taller depending on who draws him. So
yeah, it's the root of the character and what the character has become are two very different things. And you know what? I wish him the best, however they go with it. If they're listening to me, Matt Berry, perfect Wolverine.
Matt Berry, where do I know him from, if anything?
I mean, I'm being facetious, but he's from What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, I see him. Oh,
I just want to see.
I could actually. I know you're being kind of facetious, but I could kind of see it. I'm looking at it now.
It's more or less like he's infamous for his amazing line reads, and I just want to hear that thick British accent trying to call people bub.
I was gonna say, but he's got to be Canadian. Add to that, he'd have to, buff up, But I mean, if Chris Pratt can do it. See, so folks, that's what we do on the Torn Quadcast. We start off talking about comic books and the like, and then we finally get into wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's get into wrestling here. 15 minutes into the show, and let me start off by saying this: back to breakups. And we already knew that WWE and Peacock were breaking up. WWE got a deal with ESPN to carry all of their premium live events.
Yep.
But damn it, did they have to leave early?
Yes, they did.
It was like, I read that news and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like the time when I came home and my wife had already moved all her stuff out.
Well, apparently WWE, with their extension of WrestleMania and SummerSlam to 2 days, with the Saturday night main events and these clashes all over the world, they completed their Peacock agreement months ahead of schedule. And I don't know if you saw the tie-in articles that came up with this, but everyone apparently is saying that TKO is $3 billion in the hole, and they need to do anything and everything to pinch those pennies. To which I just laugh and say, yeah, I'm sure they're doing it because they need those $30.
I mean, seriously, you sign a $7 billion deal for UFC. Add to that, you've already had the deals for WWE on Netflix, which was amounted to about $3 billion. Of course, the ESPN deal for the PLEs, I forgot how much that was for. All I know is that, again, they're making money hand over fist. And every time they sign a new deal, they let more people go. So where the hell are they losing money is my question.
I mean, they officially, I didn't put it in our roll of stories here, but apparently, officially, by the way, circle the square, Karrion Cross is gone.
I believe nothing that WWE tells me now. After the whole bit with Seth Rollins and the fake injury, which the more and more I think about it, the angrier I get. Because again, that's going to make me now mistrust every injury moving forward when it comes to what happens at the whole Kevin Owens thing.
Yeah.
When people were calling him out and saying he was faking it and he got angry about the whole thing. If I were Kevin Owens right now, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed that this whole thing is going on, and I'm telling people I'm legit hurt, but people won't believe me. And you got another wrestler now going out there and doing what the fans, the smart marks, and so on are accusing me of.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is a kerfuffle, and yeah, I mean, you could definitely make the case that there's a lot of these seeds and stuff that Karrion Cross wasn't actually let go, or that they're waiting to repackage or like bring him back a third time. But I'm sorry, like I'll stick my neck out on this one. I think he's gone because this is the third firing, and they didn't do anything to serve him well on the way out. He did the job again, and somebody pointed out, like, if you look at his last run in WWE, he didn't get a single memorable win. He had very memorable like storylines with people, and he's really good at carrying his story on his own in his social media posts and things like that. But people pointed out, like, in between the ropes, he's not anything super special, so it's not like AEW is trying to scoop him up. I don't think they could care less. So he's gonna end up kind of doing the same thing again. He's going to get over on the indies really well, and it's just going to come to pass that if and when Triple H wants to bring him back, I'm sure he will, and then they'll just play it off like it was a ruse the whole time.
Well, to the point of that whole thing that happened with R-Truth, right?
Yeah.
Or now he's Ron Killings.
Oh, what a waste.
Yeah. Well, where is he now? They made this whole big deal about, they've re-signed him, he's back. I see him on TikTok more than I see him in WWE.
And they've already broken this whole, like, he's Ron Killings serious, but he's also R-Truth playing John Cena's mirror thing. Yeah.
And again, he's back on TikTok playing the R-Truth character again, or being whatever. So to the point is, I'm sorry. And I mean, I'm just saying this as a fan. This is what happens when you have too much talent to work with, when you have an embarrassment of riches. WWE Creative, when they don't have the challenge of being able to, make stars and build them up because out of necessity, they flounder. And again, after watching that whole Unreal, the Unreal documentary series, and going, you have that many people in a writer's room, and this is what you come up with?
It's pretty lousy.
It is.
And on top of that, I'll segue over to something here that's, kind of ties to this. WWE, as we've equated before, it's fast food. It's McDonald's. It is the 500-pound gorilla in the room. Yet they still perceive enemies at the gate when there aren't any really at their scale. And they're now counter-programming against AEW's pay-per-views with NXT events. I'm gonna mark out as an AEW fan and kind of laugh and say, like, why are you doing this to NXT? Like, if you're asking the casual fans that love more of the in-ring action, they're going to pay for the AEW stuff, and they'll catch NXT on whatever network or whatever some other time if there's something that matters. But NXT of itself right now is sort of like they got the people that haven't been called up, and they don't have enough talent growing yet that you're like, you know, if I asked anybody right now, I don't know if you could answer this, tell me who I should care about in NXT that shouldn't already be on the main roster causing problems or, you know, starting over again on the big stage.
And they're constantly adding more and more talent through their developmental, you know, through, you know, all this. It's like, you know what? Again, they're the WWE, they've gone from being the wrestling promotion to being, they are the NFL of pro wrestling. They've decided to do everything. They wanted to take over everything on every level. Not only are they the show, they wanted to be the AAA and the developmental, you know, leagues and all that, so that they would have constant control of everything as this talent is working their way up, which you would think would lead to a more consistent product and a more consistent creative. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's what they need to do next. Now they need to work on developing the writers and the creatives behind the scene. We see so much about what happens with the wrestlers and what they go through. You know, that is a given now. I don't know what is new that you can do with that sort of a exploring that angle. You know, I would like to see, hey, Triple H, you know what you need to do? And they did this a while back. Hell, I was approached by WWE to join their writing staff. I mean, and it was like, you know, I put together a writing sample for them. And I know people are going to they're going to say I call bullshit on you. But dude, I wrote a sample that I later on saw they use it on programming. They took an element from the sample that I wrote, and I saw them use it on WWE programming. You know, somebody in the writing group probably had to evaluate my bit, and they went, this isn't what we want, but ooh, that bit right there, that works. We can do something with that. And they used it.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not offended. I'm not mad. I'm like, hey, it was good enough to steal. So hey, and that gave me the whole wow. I could have written for WWE. Although my Lisa Verone, you know, most people know her as Victoria. A friend of mine, she told me, said, Elliott, don't do it. The writers in WWE get paid crap and they get treated like crap. So
I mean, it's pretty clear. It's interesting. I've, as of late, have really grown fond of Stevie Richards' YouTube podcast, whatever. And I watched his 4-hour, I mean, it was cut up, but 4 hours worth of discussion over his Stevie Night Heat character, which hilariously I missed all of it. Like I maybe heard the name once or twice, but I had no idea what it was about. And I kind of fell down the rabbit hole a little bit over it. And it's such an interesting anecdote that here is this journeyman wrestler that had been through ECW, WCW, into the WWE, was given the ball with the right to censor, and was, for a small time, one of the top heels in the company through that right to censor. And when that got axed, he fell right back down the card, actually left the company to do some developmental work. And when he came back and found himself only booked on the Sunday Night Heat shows without permission, started coming out and coming up with this Stevie Night Heat character, this notion that he had gone nuts and thought that he owned the show. And he was like, you know, telling the cameraman to get better angles of him, and he would give him a bonus that week. And he got away with it for like 8 months until finally Stephanie McMahon picked it up and ruined it.
No.
But he talked all the time about how the WWE writers, like, it is as much a game in front of the camera as is behind it, that writers are trying. It's like SNL. You're trying to get
Right.
something up to the main stage, but you got to get past Lauren. And not unlike Saturday Night Live, if something works, WWE will beat it into the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as a fan, it's what's caused me to leave on more occasions than one. Like right now, I'll be honest, I'm barely following the product, because when they once again gave Seth Rollins this belt using this angle, which he's done before, I'm like, there's nothing new here. There's nothing to mine. I don't get what's new about any of this. And then I got my head chopped off online for daring to point out that Solo Sikoa and his whole My Family Tree stable just seems to be a retread of the bloodline again.
I mean, I equate what's going on in wrestling to what kind of happens with comic books. You know, the same thing happens in comics. They recycle. It's like they go for a while with Spider-Man, and then it's like they reach a certain point, and they're like, okay, boop, we got to start over again. We got to roll up the carpet behind us, and then roll it out in front of us again.
I'm a DC fan. I'm used to the universe ending every 6 years.
Every 6 years, right. And I've like they're doing that in Marvel. They're doing that, although they're doing that with more frequency right now in Marvel. I swear to God, it's like every other year they're doing a sudden rebooting. Spider-Man starting over again. Fantastic Four starting over again. X-Men starting over again. And it's getting kind of ridiculous. Like that's a challenge that I had a discussion about this with my writing partner, Dr. Susanna Flores, about our Doctor Doom book that we're working on right now. You know, Doctor Doom, there is no consistent there's no consistency in his character depending on who's writing him in what book. He's either like the misunderstood tyrant, the tyrant who cares, or just a despicable SOB, which is what Ryan North is writing him as in the current One World Under Doom and in Fantastic Four.
His power levels have also shifted.
Yeah, it's
insanely.
Insanely, yes. And so I know what's going to happen as we're writing this book and talking about Doom and exploring his character. I'm going to have nerds are going to come at us at one point and go, well, you know, this happened here and this is what happened there. And it's contradicting what you're saying. I go, yeah, I know. The character's full of contradictions. It's everywhere. But all you can do is try to find the essence and the spirit of the character and try to explore that. And I think that's kind of what happens with wrestling. Yeah. That like they know they're recycling. I mean, when you look at it, they're recycling angles from years ago. That's why they're always saying, you know, Steven Regal and all the wrestling guys will say, look at the old tapes. You got to look at the tapes and see how so-and-so worked a match. But it's not just working the match. Look at old promos. Look at old angles. If you're writing for WWE or AEW or any of the promotions and you have to write extensive angles, they're going to say, look at what Crockett did in NWA for the longest time. Look at what Vincent McMahon Sr. did in the WWF. Look at what Vincent Kennedy McMahon did in WWF and WWE. And it's that the soap operas the plot lines that are so common that all you want to do is rearrange certain elements and do it again.
You can. It's character driven. And I mean, it's always been like, if you've got, it's like the never ending joke. Like, you know, you ask a wrestling fan, tell me the character of Greg the Hammer Valentine. There isn't one. He is like a by the numbers heel. Like there was nothing about Greg the Hammer Valentine that was something that you could point out aside from a name or his tights.
He's the guy you point to. You go, oh, great, here he comes. It's time to go to the bathroom. All right, there you go.
Exactly. But like when you think of like the Attitude Era and like the big or the SmackDown 6 that came after that. There are all these character journeys and that people glom onto a character. I think maybe the problem right now with the WWE, I don't think they trust anybody right now, truly, to be the main character. Roman Reigns kind of has walked back his role a little bit, clearly. We're all enjoying John Cena's last year, which we'll get into in a sec. But like, tell me, who are the main characters right now in WWE? Seth Rollins, I guess. Gunther, maybe, kind of. Cody Rhodes, sure. But who is he chasing?
Right. Who are the top heels? Who are the ones who are challenging him? Because it's like, it seems like whenever he's challenged, it's like boom, then he's back to being the top good guy again. And I would say, although mind you, that it does feel like, again, it feels like old territory wrestling. That he's got the Rhodes name. If Dusty Rhodes could have booked himself as a champion all the time, he would have. But he didn't. And Cody Rhodes now, he's I can tell. Not only I have this feeling that not only is he going to be that face in front of the camera for a while, at some point when he starts throttling down and going, okay, I don't want to wrestle as much, I'm going to take over behind the scenes. I'm going to be, because I did it in AEW, I'm going to be that guy, like maybe like Triple H's, right-hand man, to kind of like deal with all the booking and the business end of it. And because he has that deep knowledge, again, of the business, of how angles worked and so on. But I would say another point I wanted to make is very much like comics is, like I've said this before, after this whole thing with SummerSlam, that was like Endgame for me. And I'm like, I don't need to follow WWE as closely as I have for as long. I can take a break for a while. I don't need to watch it. In fact, I have been watching fewer Raws as of late. I watched like maybe the first half hour, and if it doesn't really grab me, I can always watch it later, turn it off. It's kind of like when you have people who like they read comics for so long, and then they're like, okay, I'm tired. Then they get away from it, and then they decide at some point to come back and start reading them again. And I think that's where WWE is right now. They're cycling through fans, and I wouldn't be surprised if you would see a drop-off of a lot of folks that have been watching WD for the longest time because they had them on Peacock, Netflix, all this stuff. And they're like, you know what? There are other things now that get my entertainment dollar. Plus, I'm not following them to ESPN. I don't need to, do that. I mean, like, so how many people told me I just watch the clips on YouTube? Fine. They're going to cycle through. You say, the TKO said they lost $3 billion. How much you want to bet they're going to be talking about losing even more money in the future because ratings are, and you have brought this up. You have brought this up as far as the ratings and the views and the consistent numbers for the inconsistent numbers for Netflix and the raw numbers on Netflix dropping pretty much.
I mean, they lost a third of their audience from when they made the big jump. That much we knew. And look, it's splitting hairs. They're going to fill arenas. They're still the most recognized brand in professional wrestling. That's not going to change
for now.
But they are at this particular day and time too big to have a WCW like. There's no 84 weeks coming up unless there is some. Like it would literally have to be if somebody in AEW became a true global recognized star in the way that WCW, when they got hot, when they got Hall and Nash, and then Hulk Hogan turned over, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, that is something new. And all of a sudden then they got Goldberg and they had Sting and Ric Flair as sort of their last anchor. The old boys grabbed the attention. I love AEW. There's no way they have that right now. I mean, I love all of their champions way more than WWE, but they're not taking them.
I'm going to be honest. I have little to no faith in Tony Khan that even if you gave him, you could present him the formula, the task, the characters to be like the new NWO, and he'd figure out a way to fuck it up.
I mean, I don't even know if he would necessarily even do that so much as just like, he's not a booker. He's a
not.
billionaire.
That's the thing. He's not a booker. And the fact that he plays that is the issue, that he doesn't have that. He's a fan. And you know what? That's great. You know, how many fans freaking work at Marvel and DC? They grew up as Marvel fans, DC fans. They do a capable job. You have, I know, a hell of a lot of wrestlers in WWE now grew up as fans. Hell, how many people work for Lucasfilm and Disney grew up as fans? And they follow through, right. But if there's anything that has shown me that Tony Khan has and I hate to say his name because I know a lot of people bitch about him, and I will call bullshit on him too from time to time. But there are times when Eric Bischoff makes a good point when he talks about Tony Khan's absolute lack of ability to put a story together and total ineptness when it comes to really taking a star or a talent or a platform and using it to launch everyone. Again, you heard me bitch about this on the show, months back.
Yeah.
The moment they started showing AEW on Dynamite, man, on HBO, I should have been seeing MJF every freaking week, because if he's your guy, I should be able to see him. I should be seeing Tony Storm all the time. I should be seeing your top stars all the time on HBO, because that's for some of them, that's the first time I see them. And if you're giving me all your B players, I'm like, I don't care.
Well, and here's the thing, I'll plus one you on this. It's not that you weren't seeing these people, and I know you weren't. The problem is they are on every week, but there's no consistent story that's driving anything. There's matches and there's little hypey packages that get you to those matches. There's been little dinks and dunks of storyline that the wrestlers have fought tooth and claw to make relevant. But it's few and far between, which is, I mean, we'll get into it. Forbidden Door is their pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. I was going to rip through the matches quickly, but because so many of them, especially for something called Forbidden Door, which is basically like, hey, we're going to try to get some people outside of the AEW sphere to wrestle our stars. That's the Forbidden Door being broken down. A lot of these matches are exhibitions. They're just there because it's dream match, which is what Tony Khan really wants to do. He wants to put the action figures in the ring and then just watch them.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you get a good match out of it, that's great. But to your point, to build it up again, AEW, I mean, they should just call it artisanal, entertainment wrestling, because it is. It is very niche. AEW is going for the very sophisticated adult wrestling fan. Okay. That's great. That's a market. Go for it.
Yeah.
But even for that, you would think, knowing that they would be even more particular about making sure that storylines are set up properly, that stars are given proper respect, especially when you start dealing with folks from other promotions. Again, that's, I don't want to go too deep into criticism, because again, I have to admit ignorance. I do not follow the product as closely as you do. All I can say is if Tony Khan is trying to get my attention and get me over to his side, and I'm going to tell you right now is the perfect time. You're going to have people dropping WWE in droves. Droves.
With that in mind, I think we should go through this card, because there's definitely a couple of points where I'm like, I want Elliott to see this, because I think we could catch him as a fan, and not just you personally, but the people in your boat going, WWE is starting to get over with the, I don't think I like it. What does the other person have to offer me? I'm going to quickly go through this Forbidden Door. First off, there's a fatal 4-way for the TBS championship. So that's your mid-card women's title. Current champion is Mercedes Moné, going up against Persephone from CMLL, Bozilla from Stardom, and Alex Windsor, who is a new AEW talent. No offense. Who cares?
Yeah, again,
Mercedes Moné is not losing the belt.
Yeah.
And I don't know the other girls, and they haven't been shown to me yet.
Right.
So who cares? Next up, the tag team championships. This is between the current champions. It's Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, the Hurt Syndicate. They are fighting against Bandito and Brody King, who recently formed this makeshift tag team for the tournament, and they're getting over with the fans. So they're one of the teams. And then FTR, former WWE, are also in it. This is one of those opportunities. FTR needs to win it, and they need to make a big stink about it because they are heels. They are heels. They are getting heel heat. The Hurt Syndicate's getting over his baby faces. They don't need these tag belts. Bobby Lashley, no offense, ain't a tag team wrestler. Like, it's coming across like, he just needs...
Has he ever been AEW champion?
Bobby Lashley hasn't even competed for a singles title yet.
Okay. Again, what the hell are you doing, Tony Khan? What are you doing?
Yeah. So that's an opportunity. Up next, the reformed Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, Edge and Christian,
right,
are facing off against Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus, whose new name is Killswitch. Maybe he wants to double as like a bassist for a metal band. All that matters here is that Edge and Christian are back together. This is the slow retelling of them reforming their friendship. The story playing here is that Christian knows he's a heel and he's not giving up being a heel, which is funny because the whole thing is Edge grabbed him and he told him to go find yourself. And this past week, Christian came back and he's like, I did. I'm an asshole. And I was like, great.
Wait, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Adam Copeland, aka Edge, spend the majority of his time in WWE playing the heel? I mean, he was the rated R superstar. He simulated sex with Lita in the middle of the ring at a Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so what is this? You got to be a good guy. I mean,
he's not even playing it. Copeland's not playing that he doesn't want to be a heel. He's being himself. The crowd loves him, and him doing a heel turn right now would make no sense because it's clear both of these guys are on the edge of the end of their career.
Edge.
And if you have a heel team win those tag belts, I know that you don't care about heel versus heel. This is a case where you'd have to let it cook. So this is a case where you got more storyline, so let it happen. Up next, real quick, this is a who cares. IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. is facing off against Nigel McGuinness. Cool.
Yeah, again, I'm going to myself, wait, are these wrestling names or porn star names? I can't.
It should be a good, here's the funny thing. Out of all the matches on this thing, MJF aside, that's the one I actually want to watch because these guys do the British catch can style, which is my favorite. It'll be a really cool technical showpiece, but Nigel McGuinness is wrestling on a stone cold stack of dimes neck. He's not going to do anything crazy. This is him slowly doing his last matches, so whatever. Good for him. Up next is a waste of time. It's Jon Moxley and a bunch of his cronies against all of the good guys who aren't otherwise booked. I don't care. I'm not even going over it. Next, Kyle Fletcher versus her Takahashi. I know he's big in Japan. He's not going to take the belt off of Kyle Fletcher. I like Kyle Fletcher. He's like Randy Orton when he first came out and he was turning super heel. He's got that vibe, has that look. Good for him. Your favorite and mine, Toni Storm, is facing off against Athena, formerly of WWE, whatever her name is there. But she has been the Ring of Honor Women's Champion for 3.5 years. This is very much a Toni Storm could lose. Her character will take no damage. Is this the time you pull the trigger or not? Because if she defeats Athena, then she's basically, it's like putting your up and comer right back down the card.
And that's what Tony Khan will do.
Of course.
And I will add to this, I mean, and no disrespect intended, although I know it's going to come across this way. Okay, maybe I will admit it is a bit disrespectful what I'm going to say, but the fact that Athena isn't so much, has been the Ring of Honor champion for 3 years, isn't so much that she's that great, is that right now, Ring of Honor's talent pool is very, very thin.
I mean, she's kind of run through every good woman who then moved to AEW anyway, so she's been a great litmus test. But I think she proved herself. Honestly, this to me is, again, Tony Khan could have told a better story if she would have took the belt off Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, yeah. And again,
that's where she belongs.
And I'm apologies, Athena. You can kick my ass, I'm sure. And it's no criticism of you. It's just the way sometimes shit happens. And yeah. I will also say this. I will say the same thing about the Roman Reigns being champion for 3 years as he was. It wasn't so much that he was that great, is that all the people around him just weren't.
And so, no one was willing to give the storyline to make it actually change.
Right.
And I agree with you. 2 left here. This one should be interesting based on backstage rumors, but Kazuchika Okada, your whatever you would like to name this belt champion, is going against Swerve Strickland. The rumor has it that Swerve's pretty beat up and probably needs some time off. So no surprises here. I think Okada will beat him and Swerve will take a little bit of time to heal up. It'll be a good match. Again, there's been a little bit of a story here, but no offense to Okada. He doesn't have a mouthpiece talking for him right now. And his whole gimmick is saying the word bitch. Okay, that's the
90s, right? I mean, that they worked.
Isn't it though? He's really good in the ring, I guess. I don't know,
but again, I mean, there are a lot of wrestlers that are great in the ring, but don't you need the whole package? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's definitely a language barrier, and Tony Khan isn't interested in giving him a mouthpiece that would make sense.
Right.
Anyway, your last match, your main event, the one where you have an opportunity to tell a lot of story and you may not. It's Hangman Adam Page, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, going against MJF. And the storyline that has been built is that MJF had won his Money in the Bank contract, for lack of better terms, and was goading Hangman to get a free title shot. And Hangman kept telling him, I'm not giving you a title shot. You will have to cash in or not. And MJF tried to play like, dude, he keeps calling him Seabiscuit, which I think is pretty funny. He's like, Seabiscuit, I'm smarter than you. I'm gonna make you angry, and you're gonna give me that free match. And they flipped the tables. Hangman made him angry, and MJF said, fine, I'm gonna pull the trigger on my contract. If you followed MJF's career up until now, there's a lot of storyline if he were to beat Hangman Adam Page. And way back down that card, the Hurt Syndicate lose. Because it came out in the dirt sheets, and this isn't some WWE Seth Rollins fakery. This is like some guy squealed. Somebody in the Hurt Syndicate told Tony Khan, MJF is out or I leave. And Tony Khan ended that storyline abruptly, terribly, and MJF, being the talent that he is, went down to Mexico, stole a title, came back, had a great match with Mark Briscoe, gave him a beautiful 1 week storyline that actually made sense, and then said, now I got my contract, I'm gonna go get my world heavyweight. He calls it the Triple B, my big beautiful belt. So there's something here. Are they going to give it to him? And if they don't, where do you go with him? Because as a MJF fan, if he can't win the big one on this case, then where does he go? Why does it matter anymore? So there's opportunity there.
I again, all due respect to Hangman Page and MJF, I know so little about either of them to really care. Again, I have seen
and it's
little
up to them to be able to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah,
so.
But I'd be really excited to see Chris Jericho come back to WWE and show off his wrinkly abs.
Oh my god!
When he has a little kid in the audience, show better abs than Chris Jericho. That's funny.
And that is the other big rumor that came out this week. Apparently, Chris Jericho, who's been taking some time off to go tour with his crappy Spencer's Gifts band.
Hey, Ozzy, come on. No, he's not. It's not great. Yeah.
I dare you to watch their new music video with a straight face.
I have watched it. It is not good. But yeah.
No. Look, hey, I'm the first person to admit I thought Judas, the song, whatever, it was great.
I mean, again, if you could get paid for doing karaoke like that, I mean, I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you pay me that kind of money to pretty much do live band karaoke and, you know, tour and stuff and have my own cruise and have people show up and pay me money to essentially do whatever. Hey, I'm not gonna, and I've always been a big Chris Jericho fan. You know,
100%.
I mean, I think though it's kind of probably time for him to kind of step up and step back and step out. You know,
I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's funny that with John Cena's final match this year, and like you see some wrestlers who were the era before him still going, and it's like I don't know what you're waiting for. Or if you just spent all your money, but like, yeah, with Chris Jericho, quote unquote, expected to sign with WWE. Let's point out, first of all, it's all rumor and innuendo. Second of all, Triple H and Chris Jericho aren't the best of friends. Not that Triple H cares if it makes money,
right?
But Chris Jericho, let us remind everybody, left the WWE because he and Kevin Owens had the best storyline, and they were given the worst place on the card in WrestleMania. And that was enough for Jericho to say, I see where you place me. I am a more valuable asset than that. I am leaving. If he were to come back to the WWE, he's not winning any championships. So who is he there to put over? What is he doing there that would matter? I love Chris Jericho. I can't fathom what he would have up his sleeve because, for lack of better terms here, he had carte blanche and creative control in AEW. I've seen what that man can come up with on his own. I think maybe it's time that Jericho gets himself a couple of Dustin Rhodes last matches, bleed that last blood, and go out on top.
All right. You know, maybe I don't know. I
bring back the top knot.
I'm end game. I'm post end game with WWE right now. If Jericho shows up, it might get my attention for a little bit until, as you say, they run that ragged and creative goes nowhere with him. So
he'd have to do something so weird and insane. Like, here's my pitch, WWE, if you're listening. Chris Jericho is the mastermind behind El Grande Americano.
Nah, I wouldn't take that from Chad Gable.
Oh,
although I do love how there's more than one Grande Americano now.
Yeah, and they're getting taller. So
yeah, just
that's
keep
why.
adding them.
Then I'll refrain. Can Chris be one of them?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would just be awesome. With the wrinkly abs.
No, but he wouldn't be the Grande Americano. He would have to be like the Grande Canadian. He would have to be like the Canadian version of Grande Americano.
Maple leaf.
Right, with a maple leaf. And he'd come out, but right with the wrinkly abs, and people go, that's Chris Jericho. No, it's Michael Cole. You're crazy. You know, if there's anything about the Grande Americano angle that cracks me up that I absolutely love is how Michael Cole insists that Grande Americano is Chad Gable or is Kaiser.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps saying you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. What was it? What there's a shoot around a grassy knoll too. You know,
commit to the bit. You gotta love when they commit to the bit. It's one of the few things they're doing right, and I bet you it's because there ain't a writer on it anywhere.
Exactly. I bet you that's Wade Barrett and the talent. They're just coming up with that on their own. They're just doing that on their own. I agree.
Oh, 100%. So, two last things then for our WWE fans. John Cena's final match. If you haven't written it down on your calendar, it's Saturday, December 13th on a special Saturday night main event. My byline is lame.
At least they're not moving it to freaking ESPN. I could have seen them doing that, but apparently Peacock was like, "Yo, like you're taking this away from us. We need something." They will be holding on to Saturday night's main event, and they will be holding on to onto the WWE library and the SmackDown episodes 30 days after broadcast. So WWE is not leaving Peacock altogether, just to PLEs, which is again, the whole point for me.
Yeah, but no announcements yet who that last match is. But whatever,
He did say it was someone. They did say it's someone he hasn't wrestled in these ages. And the Miz did host the Rich Eisen show and said he would love to have another match with John Cena.
Yeah, all I can say is if you want to make something even lamer, put him against the Miz as his final match. Absolutely.
Well, it wouldn't be the final match, but he should have a match against the.
Sure, let him have it. But I hope his last match is against Microman.
Oh God, I took that video and turned it into a meme on TikTok, and TikTok flagged it for unoriginality.
Oh,
I was like, come on, it was funny. Freaking algorithm, no funny.
They can't win. Oh yeah, and then just in case y'all were paying attention, Sami Zayn and LA Knight have been traded on respective shows. Plot twist: I don't know which show they were on and which show they're on now.
Does it matter though? I mean,
that's the problem.
Do the brands even matter anymore? You have them showing up on each other's shows anyway. Why do they even bother with it now?
That's just the thing. Like, homogenize the brand or really make it a hard split. But you know who will not be there for the next 9 months?
Naomi. Yes.
Congratulations to her and main event Daddy Uso. I believe contractually, regardless of the child's sex, they will be called Yeet.
Wait, she's not married to Jay. She's married to Jimmy.
I thought she was married to Jay.
No, she's married to Jimmy.
She is? She took the worst one?
Oh, you did not.
I very much did.
Wow.
Yeah. If you're gonna do that, take Tonga Loa. What do I care?
But that reminds me. Although again, not that it's a recycled angle, but I remember when Awesome Kong. Remember when she was in the WWE and she was. By the way, met her years ago when she was still with TNA. Wonderful, wonderful woman. Great conversationalist. When she made it to WWE, they were building her up properly to be like this dominant force in the women's division. And then she got pregnant, and hers was really like a high-risk pregnancy. So she had to like step out at that point. I'm going, then what happened? I mean, I unfortunately didn't follow. I'm sure she had her child. And obviously I think she never really came back to WWE because that was the last time we heard from her.
Yeah.
I'm sure Awesome Kong out there, good luck to you. I'm sure you're very happy with your child and you're staying home. Good for you.
I'll keep shooting my shot and say, regardless of the fact that it's Jimmy, not Jey Uso, the baby will still be called Yeet.
Because, to make the uncle happy.
Yes. Well, I figure, and the kid will actually be born in the crowd and make his way down. She'll just have to show up. But obviously, Mazel Tov, and let it all be well. I think that actually covered all of my little notes, and then I had just a hey, if we got 30 seconds left, can I just say I know we're still in the preseason, but how about them Bears?
How about them Bears? Yes, that you can listen to on WRMN Radio. WRMN is now the official home of the Chicago Bears in the Fox River Valley. No, sorry, we can't stream them online. We can't put them on the app. We can't stream the games on YouTube. But if you tune in to WRMN 1410 AM, you live in the Fox River Valley, especially some of those areas way further out north and west where the signal from the city, the main station that's broadcasting the games doesn't quite reach you. you can get us nice and clear out here in the Fox River Valley. So check us
Oh.
out. But yes, Bears have there's a lot as of this recording. That now the book that interviewed that had featured the interview with Caleb Williams and talking about his trials and tribulations under the previous coaching regime is out, and they were going over it with a fine-tooth comb on sports radio this past week. So nothing like another distraction in the preseason to get people talking about.
I mean, they got to do it. I was excited, if only because my former work wife, Heather, who is an absolute Buffalo Bills diehard. Like, she lives here, and she is a season ticket holder in Buffalo.
Wow.
That's how much she loves her Bills. And
yeah.
I can't help but constantly remind her that even though you take the last 30, 40 years of both franchises, Buffalo's come out on top and had a better winning record than Chicago by all means, but they still haven't won the big one. So like all great Chicagoans, I never let her forget that.
Yeah, they've been to the Super Bowl 4 times and have lost every time.
Yep. Yeah. And she also mentioned, she goes, hey, last year the Bears faced the Bills in preseason and beat them senseless too. So how did that turn out for you? And I wrote her back, both didn't win the Super Bowl.
I mean, I have respect for Bills fans because they have really suffered, just like I have respect for Detroit Lions fans. When everyone thought last year was the year for them, and it was not. And it was
they didn't. I mean, look, the scripts came in. There was no way they were going to win that one. The powers that be still wanted KC, but I'm excited. I didn't catch the whole thing, but
that's what
I thought.
No, I would say that's what happens when you let Tony Khan book your Super Bowl.
Right. Oh no. I'm excited for this year. Obviously, we're still in the preseason. There's so much more to come, but what little we saw come out there, it's just, as a Bears fan, it makes me go, man, I'm pleased but tepid. Like I don't want to fall in love again, because the last time I did, the Bears did not win the Super Bowl against my wife's team.
It's entertainment, okay? I mean,
it is.
Yeah, and I've end gamed on a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to follow the Bears, if only because not only am I a Bears fan and I work for a Bears radio station, but hey, if you want to buy ads during Bears games, let me know. Sales at WRMN1410.com is how to get in touch with me. I can get you ads during Bears games this season. All right. Hey, it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be a fun year for the Bears. I'm going to be happy to switch over. We're going to have a new show on WRMN. I don't think I can announce it yet, but stay tuned. Sunday mornings, we're going to have a special show that has to do with football. I'll talk more about it next week when it officially premieres. And, of course, we're going to have more sports talk with our On the Rise and Truth About Chicago Sports crews, as well as Big Top Sports. Those guys are going to be talking about Bears a lot. Shout out to Mike Napolitano and the On the Rise folks for covering the Savannah Bananas when they were in town last week, or when this airs, it will have been last week. They got interviews with AJ Przinsky, Ozzie Guillen, and others. So again, if you're looking to get coverage on regular sports for the most part, right here on WRMN, Sunday mornings from 8 to noon. Again, On the Rise with Mike Napolitano and Blake Cowell. And then I apologize to the rest of the guys because I only remember Marcus Mack and I think it's Marcus and Blake, and then I forget who's Mike's co-host. But they're covering every Sunday morning from 8 to noon, and then 6 to 8 when he's not preempted by the White Sox. Derek Geyer is doing Big Top Sports, and you're going to get a lot of sports talk here. Of course, the Torn Quadcast will continue here on Saturdays, from 6 on. There's been talk about us expanding the show. If you like that idea, drop us a line. Let us know if you want to see more of the Torn Quadcast. We can easily expand it on YouTube. I mean, on the air, on the radio. And we might even be moving the show to Fridays because we are going to be expanding some Saturday evening program moving forward that would involve myself and my morning show co-host, Susie C. So
now here, I thought you wanted us to counter-program SmackDown.
Is anyone watching SmackDown?
Not if we're on.
I would say, because I mean, who's watching SmackDown? I cannot remember the last episode of SmackDown I've ever watched. I can't even remember.
Same. I think the last time I watched it, it was on UPN.
Yeah, and when I think about it, now Cody Rhodes is a SmackDown champion, right? Because Seth Rollins is a Raw champion.
Yes.
I cannot remember seeing the last time Cody Rhodes wrestled outside of a PLE. So,
I don't think he does. I think he shows up every week in a fancy suit and bleeds.
What you want to talk about? His podcast is pretty good. I'll give him that.
Everyone's got a great podcast, but not everyone has a Torn Quadcast.
That is true.
Just pointing it out.
No, that's a very valid point. I appreciate it when you get to the joke or the pun before I do. I should retire at this point.
Hang it up.
Hang it up. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week to talk about what other things goes on. Hey, what is will season 1 of Peacemaker be as good as they're saying on the Rotten Tomatoes website? Add to that all the other goings on around the world of professional wrestling. And I was going to say, if Tony Khan wants to be on the show and explain his creative decisions, I'm willing to give him a forum for that. Maybe if we needle him enough, he'll show up.
Hey, I'm at 174 days of tagging They Might Be Giants on Blue Sky, and they have yet to get a hold of me. So I'm willing to start a campaign.
I think Tony Khan's got rabbit ears. He's like our president who can't handle criticism. So if you put it out there enough, he will respond.
There you go.
All right, folks. For Mark Fishman, I'm Elliott Serrano. This has been the Torn Quadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell your friends if you like this episode, if you like this show, give us a thumbs up. Share us on your social medias. We would appreciate it. And that way we can get this out to more and more people and, have more fun. All right, folks. Until next week, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Be kind. We've got one life. Let's make the most of it. Good night, everybody.